Welcome to Living Chassidus. Together, let's live the Chassidus we learn.
Morning, everybody, and welcome to Chassidus in the Morning. 15 minutes to change our lives. Aleph, Parshas, Vayeira. Okay, so we were discussing. So there's 2 points in this Sikha. Basically, with the famous story we were discussing about the Rashab and his little kid. He went to Tzedek on his birthday. He was 4 or 5 years old, and he was crying because he learned or he heard in Cheder that Hashem revealed himself to Avraham, and he was crying. Why didn't Hashem reveal himself to me? I also want to see Hashem. And the Talmud Tzedek answered him, when a Yid or a Tzaddik, 100 years old, decides, or 99 years old, decides that he needs the bris milah, so he's worthy of having Hashem reveal himself. And this is the answer to the Talmud Tzedek the Rabbi Shab was happy with. So the Rebbe said we have to, of course, every story that we've gotten shared, any story, the Rebbe says a lot, any story that we hear from a Rebbe that was publicized, it means something we can learn from. You're going to say to yourself, this is a Rebbe, Shkayach, a little kid, but he's a Rebbe. He's a Rebbe Rashab. So the Rebbe Rashab is a little kid, he's still a Rebbe Rashab. So therefore, we can't learn anything from this. The Rebbe said the fact that it was publicized to us means there's for sure for us to learn from, and let's learn. First of all, the beautiful first lesson is we have to realize that we can ask and demand from ourselves to want to have a revelation of godliness. And it should bother us when we don't feel the connection to Hashem. And so, meaning we should be sensitive to that whole experience. Are we feeling it? We're not feeling it? How connected are we? We're not connected. And if it's not in the place we want, we should be broken about the fact that we don't have that. We should have that same feeling. Like we should have that same want, like Avraham had a revelation. We should also have this. That was the first lesson, and it's a beautiful lesson. You can bring about this for forever. And Mr. Hashem, you will. The second lesson is the answer that's on Tzedek. That he said, when a person, 99 years old, the Yid, the Tzaddik, at 99 years old, realizes he still has to have a bris, on the spiritual sense, that's not just a physical cutting off of some skin, but the deeper meaning of it. So then he's deserving of the revelation of godliness. And so we started explaining what that means. That Avraham Avinu, and this is what we're going to discuss more today. So we'll just get into it. Yeah. So then we had a whole discussion about how like a tzaddik and Avraham Avinu became to this level. He was a tzaddik that he had full control of all his 5 senses. And even to the extent that things that can't normally, like we said, the story with the Rabbi Shab, that he stopped being able to hear, and he realized after a while trying to figure out why he can't hear from one ear, is because during the time of saying the Maimon, they were talking in the room next door, and it was distracting him. And his job was to give a chassidus and to stop him from being distracted, to turn off his ear. That's by tzaddik. But even in such a case, and this is sort of what was stressing him, even on a person such a level, they have to realize that this is what should be done. Let's see, we'll say it continue in Zayin. Tamadavar, so why? Yeah, so like we said, I'm saying in the Vav, V'gam al tzadikim eile ladas shaleim limoas asma. Even a tzaddik on such a level, even the Rebbe Shab, that he's able to control his sense of hearing. Even him has to recognize he has to have a bris. What does that mean? We're going to explain this even more. The Talmud, the reason is mishum, because shekashakayemes arla, when you have arla, which is literally the foreskin, but it means the spiritual foreskin. Avdak even something very fine, meaning something that's covering over and that's concealing. Ruchnius, Allah davar lisbate, it's something that's even spiritually, but it ends up can come out. Can come down through the Seder Shtashos, through distance, meaning like it's such a high level, such a minute, such a big deal. But if you let it go and you just let it keep on going, it gets worse. Catch it in the beginning. That's what we're saying. And this is, you can see by the language of the Tzemach Tzedek. What does Tzemach Tzedek say? What's his answer to Rasha? Because Yehudi, tzaddik, a yid, not just a yid, a tzaddik. Even a tzaddik, a person that is good, he's righteous, does all the good things. And we're not saying a tzaddik, just a nice guy. A tzaddik, like Tanya says, doesn't even have a really Yitzhar. The low level, you can say even the tzaddik that he has a He has the Yetzer Hara is very small, minute, is totally bottled to his Yetzer Tov. But he's been Tishim Matesha Shanim, he's 99 years old. That's when he knows he has to have a bris. What does that mean? What does it mean, 9 years old? So it says in the Mishnah, Ben Meya Kula Leima. A person that's 100 years old, which means and he's refined all his levels, the 10 faculties, all of himself. Not just meaning 10 years old, so to speak, you would say all 10. So Yechesed, Yevur, Tiferes, but 100 is each one of those within themselves. So it's Chacha Shebechesed, or Chacha Shebechachma, Gevur Shebechachma, Tiferes Shebechachma, Netzach Shebechachma, and all those levels, and going through all 10. So that's 100. 100, you're perfect. You've done everything. You worked on everything, and that's the 100. Ben Me'aklema Kazeh Shibir V'Halais Kol Esakech is Nafshay Kol Achas Kafishi Kalula Mieser Ein Loi Lachush. When you get to 100 and you've worked on yourself and you're perfect, you've done everything, every single bit, so then you don't have to worry. Mishum She'ein Loi Kol Maga Im Yana Elam, because you have no relationship with the world anymore. I mean, of course, you live in the world, but your relationship with the world is not, you're not like little kids get angry very easily, happy very easily, angry very easily. When you get to 100, in the spiritual sense of all that Vayeira, so you know what's important in life, what's not important, and you're making good choices, and the Samay doesn't excite you too much. Like it says in Pirkei Avos, when you reach 100, you're like a person is dead and he's passed on and he's nullified from the world. So what does that mean? It's a simple sense. It's like, whatever, 100 years old, you're finished. But in the deeper sense, it means like this. Maimah is a move on. So the Rebbe says like, 1 second, this whole Maimah doesn't make much sense. Because the Chayra, call it Daigus, Hamanuyas, but Maimah is there, Mishtamois, Chayrois, Lis Nagus, Epoel. Now, if you look in the Mishnah over there, it enumerates different stages in life. And that's what we're going to discuss here. And every stage shows something happens, something good. But here and then you get to 100, you're dead. So what does that mean? It's as if you're dead. What does that mean? So he explains. It says in the Mishnah, Ben Chamesh, Lemikon, turn 5, you start learning Psukim, Chumash. Ben Eser, Lemishna, when you become 10 years old, you start learning the Mishnayos. When you're Gimel, the Mitzvahs. When you're 13, you start learning the Mitzvahs. And it keeps on going. So every stage you're learning, you're growing. You come to 100, it says kilu bottom of avar bottom, like you're nullified from the world. You're non-existent anymore. That's a weird thing to say. So what does it mean? The deeper sense for sure. Implications like this. It's not that you're totally nullified, you're lost in the world. Bir v'hala shleimus es ha'koichus and afshu v'davka b'pratius kefi shehem kalu kol achas me'eser hareyu ben meir. So he's saying the Vayeira is saying to us, the Mishnah is the Pirkei Avos is saying that the 100 we're talking about is that you've worked yourself totally and transformed yourself. Ki'ilu avar batim min ha'elam nifsak shaychus il nyan ha'elam ve'eloi memalach sheish v'chinus that you get to 100 in this, it's like a physical stage of 100, but it means in the spiritual sense you've worked yourself totally. So then you're amazed about meaning the world, you're nullified from the world, you totally non-exist in the world in the sense you don't look at the world as the way we look at the world. Or it's like the Alter Rebbe has been saying in Tanya about when the tzaddik passes away, the whole life of the tzaddik is Av Hashem and Yiras Hashem. So that's why he says when a tzaddik passes away, he doesn't really pass away because the whole life of a tzaddik is not food, it's not eating and drinking and sleeping. It's all spirituality, and that continues on. So to what we're saying here, that when you get to 100, and a person that reaches 100, it completes themselves, and the batzah from the elam, like the world and then the food and the eating and all these things, they don't take a smarkim, and petty things. Like I remember one time, because a lot of time when we talk examples, we use food, let's say, and it's a very one-dimensional. There's so many other areas of life we can work on. So I'll give you a simple example. And one time I was in shul, and some guy got angry at someone for something. I don't know what it was. He was like, got angry or something. He started gripping into a person. And the person he was telling off was much older. And I remember, and I saw this, I don't remember exactly what happened. I remember him like complaining to him about something, like he was unhappy. And the guy just looked at him, straight face, he didn't do anything, he didn't get emotional, he didn't get angry, he didn't tell him back off. And the guy finished like ranting, and he said, okay, and went back to whatever he was doing. And I was like so shocked. And that's what we're saying. When you get to that level in life, you know, little things, hey, how this guy told me that? You know, you go to places and people get angry at little things. You know, this guy told me this guy told me my film is not straight. Who's this guy to tell him straight? You know, it's like some girls like, hey, you saw how she spoke to me, and we get angry and all these little things. But when you get to 100, and in the spiritual sense, all these things don't matter anymore. Like you're above it. You've reached a level above it. However, that's when you reach 100. Someone is 99, meaning you're not fully there. You haven't fully refined every single detail of you. A lovely male is atzmai. You have to do this. Therefore, you have to have a bris. You have to circumcise all these things that are whatever it is in the way. Keep it like we said before. But even though there's only one little, let's say you're at that point, there's only one thing left to work on. Everything else is complete. But if you have one thing to work on and you don't want to work on it, you say, I'm good enough. I'm good enough. So what happens through the Ribu Shtashlos, it can come out. It's that little thing, but if you let it go, it can come down to the point Lemais Rashis, V'achar Lemais Rashis, Yesh Markim Nishtashus, Boim Atzmai. Alulim Manois Meila Lisbatus Nach Nechusim. The ultimate can come down that even in the littlest, like that ultimately in the littlest thing will still be there. Avakashahu Sharoi Base Batlus Clawless. Said, but when a person has a level of bittul doesn't mean that I'm a nobody, but bittul means I'm a nothing else but Hashem. So when a person is on that level and meaning like this, they're 99 years old, everything's basically done, but they come from the right hanach, the right place. They say to themselves, hey, I still have to work on myself. Am I totally an expression of Hashem? When people look at me, do they feel connected with Hashem? Or they see me, my issues, and I'm very self-involved. And we all have this. It's not we're not perfect tzaddikim, but the goal of bittul is to make ourselves more godly, meaning connected to Hashem more. And what comes out of that feeling of bittul is that I have to work on myself. I have to be more godly, like the saying of ego stands for edging God out. So the opposite of ego, bittul, is edging God in. So when I'm edging God in, I'm bringing God into the picture more. Meaning that I got to 99 years old, but if I have it, without the bittul, I'm 99 years old, I'm perfect, I'm so good. A little thing, who cares about that? But when you have the bittul, you say, hey, I could be more connected to God. I could do more. I could have more of an expression of godliness. Godliness could be revealed more in this world. And when you have that attitude, you recognize that I'm not in the right stage because I'm 99 years old and I can be 100. I have to work to get to 100. But Allah, and you say to yourself, I have to change. And imagine a person, what do we say to ourselves? I'm not that bad. I'm pretty good. Yeah, we can always be bad, but hey, I'm good. I'm good enough. But he's saying this is a personal level, and this is a realization. They can even be on 99 on such a high level. But he said, hey, I still have more I can do, so I want to achieve more. And it's like the Rebbe. The Rebbe was never satisfied. He was happy but not satisfied. Puji said, he quoted from the Gemara, he says, someone has 200, wants 400. We all want more. And that's how generally life is, and that's how we should have it in spiritual terms. That's what the Rebbe was trying to tell us. You think you're 99, so you're good enough, but you can be 100, so be 100. Go be a little more. Hamachshira his alus nafshis ledagel yeino behen yeh zakai v'yirei yarei vayim. That it causes this nullification and this hagdama machshira, that a good healthy preparation to be able to reach the level that you merit having the revelation of Hashem. The midah deimel Avraham Avinu, like Avraham Avinu, to that level, the same level of Avraham Avinu, achamil, after the mill. Who nasel Avram to separate hay, and this is the made Avram in it with additional hay, like we said yesterday, that he had full control over his senses. Shalit al kol achushav af al eile shebeteva ein kayem efsharius liyoy shalit laleim. Even to the level of things that normally we can't have control over, he could. And this is, and we'll have to finish it tomorrow. What he's saying is, just to say it outside, what he's saying is like this, that a person can be even a tzaddik, even on the level of 99, but when a person realizes, this is the answer that Tzemach Tzedek is giving to the Rashab. The Rashab saying, I want to see Hashem. So first of all, we said that's a good thing, and we should all have this desire, we should all have that feeling. But the answer that the Tzemach Tzedek gives, he said, we have to realize that why does Avram get this revelation of Hashem? Because think about it, this guy is 99 years old, he's good, he's doing everything good, and he's lived his whole life trying to serve Hashem and trying to bring the world to a recognition of godliness. And even though he's 99 years old, and seemingly he's perfect, he's basically on to the level of 100, which is like perfection, he still says, I need to work myself, I just need more connected, I want to be connected more. And this is Avram, he likes this Avram was doing. Why didn't Avram give himself a bris? That's what we say in the bris, man. Why didn't he give himself a bris earlier? He did all the mitzvahs, he says, but he didn't do a bris, because he wanted to reach the level of bris, which is a way above what he's doing. He needs to come from Hashem. And he worked his whole heart and soul to get to that level where he could finally get to the level of bris. And that's what I was saying. When a person looks at the world that way, so he's deserving of having this revelation of godliness. And this is what the Tzemach Tzedek is saying to Avram, this is saying to all of us. When we realize we have what to give, and we push ourselves to give, and we work on that, and we realize I'm not good enough just because I'm better than the next person. It's not about them. I want to achieve. I want to achieve as much as Eibishter wants to me. Hashem has goals for me. And I want to achieve all these things. And the more I push myself, the more I try to do this. Such a person with that bittul is deserving of having a revelation of Hashem. And mitzvah Hashem, by all of us, we should have this revelation, and we should strive for greatness and realize our potential. Have a great day.